I am going to make some bread today because I have an abundance of flour, which is actually a good thing. If you're wondering if making your own bread is cheaper than buying it at the store, I'm not sure. I think it depends on how much you normally pay for your bread. If you buy the cheapest bread out there, I doubt it, because flour is now between like $4 and $10 for 5 pounds. And yeast has gotten really expensive, and oil has gotten really expensive. So I'd say these days it's probably a wash as to whether you should buy bread at the store or make it yourself to save money. That's my personal opinion on that. But what I want to show you is how to clean these beaters. And as you see, I bought a sponge and I cut a little sliver off of it. And I'm going to show you what to do with this. I'm going to wash this a little bit and soap up my little sponge bit. This beater has seen better days. I got another beater. I need to buy a new bucket. I need to buy a new bucket for my bread machine, but I want to show you how to do this. This is a little sponge. I cut a sliver off. Let me show you the original. When I buy a sponge, I don't use the whole sponge. This sponge was used so far, to clean my toothpaste and toothbrush holder. So I cut a little bit off for that. And I cut a little strip off to clean this beater. And then here's the rest of my sponge. I don't ever use a whole sponge for anything, especially since these were like $3. $3 for 3? Screw that. But anyway, what you do when you get your little sponge is you squish it down and thread it through. I might have cut this too thick. Can't imagine that I did, but I might have. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut it thinner. This is a different sponge than I normally use. These are not the dollar sponges, so you need to cut a very, 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 very thin sliver. My first attempt was not thin enough, so there it is. Then you need to get it wet and put some soap on it. It's been a while since I've done this. It's been a while since I've made bread, to be honest. But I have so much flour and ingredients now from the food pantry that I can make bread. So you just thread this through, because nothing gets these insides of this done. You could rinse this forever and it's never going to be clean. So there you go. And then you just pull it back and forth a few times. And that will get the rest of the dough out of the beater bar. So this is clean now. I've been working on this for a couple of days. This was actually sitting for a very, very long time. And I've been cleaning it for several days. It even got bleached. I'll tell you what the most difficult part of this is, though, is the little clips that are holding on the handle. They're being really obnoxious. So these little clips right here are being awful. There's crap under this, but I can't get to it. So we're going to try the sponge. Like I said, I've been cleaning this for days. We'll try the little sponge trick. Yeah, but if you want to save money on sponges, never use a whole sponge for anything. So yeah, I ended up bleaching this and letting it sit. Putting it in my pan with hot water and letting it heat up really hot. And then I washed it again, and then I just washed it again. If this is not clean, I do not know what to say about it. And I need a new one of these. I actually accidentally put some really tough dough in here, and it caused some damage, but Not so much damage that I'm not going to use it. Because a new bucket for this bread machine is $40 on the cheap side. A lot of them said they were $65, which is more than I paid for my first bread machine ever. I bought my first bread machine in the early 2000s. It was $50. This bread machine retails for like $115, and the new buckets are between $40 and $65. So yeah, the new bucket for this is more expensive than the first bread machine I ever bought. But anyway, I am going to make some bread. And this is how much, sponge I have left. And I'll use this to clean out my toothpaste holder next week. So I'm done with these scissors. Let's turn this around. Let's see what I can do here. Because I bet you didn't know you could do this. You can set this on your scale and measure the ingredients in. Just rinsing my thing off one more time. Let me see if I can get a better view for the camera. I do not know. Let's try a box of Total Home Scrubbies. Okay. There we go. Now you can see me put ingredients in, but I'm going to turn this on and it will zero out the bucket. It is zeroed out, so let's take a look at that. It is zeroed out. And I need to find a bread recipe, which I have somewhere. I moved my book. I gotta find it. It's a Hamilton Beach bread machine. I still have the book for it, although the book has seen better days. I should really probably try and find a new one. Go recipes. You can make everything in this thing. Recipes basic. Honey granola. Oh, that's a bread. Maple wheat. I wish I could make that. Light rye, oatmeal, onion. Boy, that sounds good. All right, I'm just going to make a 1.5 pound loaf of white. And I need 237 milliliters of water first up. So, and it helps if you get all the stuff you need prior to what you're doing. Milliliters and grams are pretty much the same thing. So, I've got my bread machine on grams. 237 milliliters of water. So here we go. $2.28. Hey, I'm pretty good. $2.27. Yeah, $2.59. Close enough. Okay, 6 milliliters of salt. So I'm going to tear this out and add 6 milliliters of salt, if I can. I have a little bit of canning salt. I don't know what happened to my first salt. It was fine. And now it's not. Alright, so I've got some canning salt, which is just ultra fine. So, let's do this. I want to look at it first. I've had it for years. Because at one point I had a few vegetables growing and I thought I would get a big thing, so I was going to learn how to can, and that didn't happen. Alright, so here's some canning salt, which should be fine. 6 grams, it says. All right, that is plenty of salt. I accidentally used 7 grams, or 8. Jeez. Ow, I got salt in a skin splint. Skin split. And the good thing about a bread machine is that you can just dump everything in it. You don't even have to heat the water. 1 tablespoon of sugar, or 15 milliliters of sugar. All right. So, as we all know, I got some sugar from the food pantry the other day. So I need 15 milliliters of sugar. I went ahead and bagged it in something else because the bag it was in was bothering me. So 15 milliliters of sugar. Well, it's going to be sweetbread. 17 milliliters of sugar. 3 tablespoons of butter or vegetable oil. That is 44 milliliters of oil. And I'm going to tear this out. And rather than using that, I am going to use olive oil. It's a higher quality oil. So I'm going to use 44 milliliters of olive oil, which I actually, this is another thing that I bought. But I've got vegetable oil in the cabinet. I could very easily use that, and I got the vegetable oil from the food pantry. I'm just using my olive oil that I'm using to make my spicy spaghetti. So I need 44 milliliters of this. Close enough. It says 43. That's close enough. 3.5 cups of bread flour. Okay, this is wrong. This is wrong all day long. 3.5 cups of bread flour would be, considering 1/4 cup is 30 grams. Let me see here. So on the flour conversion, there's a misprint. It says 728 grams, but you only need 420, according to my package of flour. So I'm only putting 420 grams in. I'm going to tear this. And if you put 700 in here, the flour is like up here. You can't even mix it. So 420. Yeah, 424. And the last ingredient is yeast, and I need 8 milliliters of yeast. I can find my yeast. What did I do with that? I know I didn't throw it away because I can't afford more. All right, 8 milliliters of yeast. And I'll put a little more in here because this yeast is a bit old. Tear that out. And 8 grams of yeast. And I put 10 grams in there. So let me show you what this looks like as soon as I wash my hands. I always wash my hands after I deal with yeast. 744. So let's see what the machine looks like. That looks perfect. Perfect. So now I gotta go over here to the bread machine and put the container in. So you saw me, I just poured all the ingredients into the bucket. Now I'm going to take it over to my bread machine. Because I cleaned the bread machine, it's in the wrong spot. And I'm going to hook it in. And I'm going to look and see what it's supposed to be on. I think 3. Oh, Basic at 1.5 pounds is number 1. And I just press the start button. It's been a while since I've used the machine. So, there it is. Now I put another tablespoon of milk in there because it's a little dry. Now it's looking good. Alright, so now all I gotta do is close the lid and wait. So I did not think this bread was going to rise at all, and it shocked me. Because I took a picture of it about 5 minutes before it was about to start the bake cycle. And it really didn't look like it was going to rise at all. And here we go. It is done. It just needs to cool off. And it looks to me like it's a nice loaf of bread. Well, if you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.